Miss Sharmila Sundaralingam, prosthetic and orthotist from Ragama School of Piano.
So, cerebral palsy is one of the disorder. As an orthotist, I am here to talk through the orthotic treatment how I can influence patients with cerebral palsy. So, I am Sharmila, prosthetist and orthotist. I am representing Sri Lankan School of Prosthetics and Orthotics. So, this is the outline for my presentation. So, I hope my presentation will be light and simple. I hope. And this is I will give you all the small introduction about orthosis and the common muscular deformity and aim of orthotic management and further some more few things. So, can I ask one question? How many of us already know about the orthosis little bit? Or I know. So, anyone know this one ever? Yeah, I really wanted to know because then I know how deep I wanted to explain it. Yeah. First thing, there's a two main things. If we are going to think about orthosis to patient, there's two main things. Whether we need to think whether are we going to support any structural support or function. So then orthosis is the external device that used for a structural and functional characteristics of in order to change the neuromuscular and skeletal system. So, like, not only orthosis, we can use some term, brace, splint, and devices. Even though the standard one is orthosis, the term is orthosis. So, like, if it is a singular, we call it orthosis, and if it is a plural, we call orthosis. And the whole field we call it orthotic, and I am a orthotist. The person orthotist. Okay. This is like most of the times when we prescribe or when we private orthosis, we most of the time deal with 3-point process system. So sometimes 2 3-point process system. So, and these are some orthoses. Like for example, here you can see it's the picture is illustrating the plantar flexion and the equina varus. So we need to provide some sort of like how the orthosis can give some support to the sagittal plane and the coronal plane. So this is the common musculoskeletal deformities that we mostly address in cerebral palsy. So this is the common musculoskeletal deformity in the cerebral palsy, and this is due to spasticity and weakness of the muscles always joined in the imbalanced position, and which is for the long term, which is lead to the joint deformities. And this is the common deformities, lower limb and upper limb deformities that we can see in child with cerebral palsy, and most of the times we like orthotic intervention. And for the spine, scoliosis and kyphosis, hip subluxation and dislocation, and knee flexion contracture, and this is the some of the foot deformities. And this just to explain. Okay, this is just to explanation to show like how the scissoring gait and hip adductor spasticity can lead to hip dislocation and subluxation. So this is again for the spinal deformities, scoliosis and pelvic oblique, and yeah. This is the actually there is several aim of orthotic management in cerebral palsy. So we can come to this. These are the main 4 principles. So sometimes to correct or prevent deformity, sometimes child with toe walking. So we need to in order to correct the angle, then we provide some orthosis, either solid angle foot orthosis, to provide a base of support. Again, for the child with the toe walking, for example, toe walking, then they are going to contact the ground with the toe. So by using the orthosis, we get the angle in a solid, and we can increase the base of support and to facilitate training in skills, especially for the in tongue control, especially for the with non-ambulatory child, we use orthosis to support the trunk. Then they will able to do some other activities like holding. Sometimes they will not able to control their head and the trunk. So we are providing some orthosis, I mean trunk orthosis, to facilitate their other activities and to improve the efficiency of gait. Actually, there is two main things in the gait: stance and the swing. Stance limb should be strong enough. So by providing a force, we can support the angle foot section, and also by maintaining the angle in a proper alignment, we can help during swing phase to clear the ground. So these are the types of orthosis. So it depends on the places that orthosis depend on the places that we use orthosis. So we can separately like set the lower extremity orthosis, upper extremity, and spinal orthosis. So if we used around the foot and we said it's a foot orthosis, if it is a knee angle foot and the knee angle foot orthosis. So this is the classification system. In CP, mainly we use the lower extremity orthosis. The main one is angle foot orthosis. The other two, KFO and HKFO, we don't use much in the ambulatory child. So it's these two things mainly for the post-surgical or to hold the child in a proper position. This is for the some indication that what type of case we can use foot orthosis. Normally, foot orthosis it will support foot section. So there will not be enough support to the subtalar joint. So if we need any support further, we should go for a above design. I just simply divided into two things, but if we go deep, there is more than 1,000 design is there. So this is the main two things. So this is the big picture. This is the very important one. So this is the we can see two categories: A4, dynamic A4. Static A4 are just holding the angle. So that I'm holding the angle, and the dynamic A4. So we are not, even though we are supporting the angle, we are allowing some movement and we are assisting some movement. So that is this is the dynamic A4. Ground force A4. This is also we are using in dynamic purpose, but there's some cases that we already talked about, that there is some the couple system. So for cases we can use this A4. This is the ground reaction A4. And this is the what type of cases that we can use A4, solid angle foot orthosis. So there is two cases, children and the non-ambulatory children. If it is non-ambulatory children, the main is spasticity, and the other part is we wanted to avoid contraction. And for ambulatory children, so we need to support their stand phase and help them to clear the swing phase. This is some biomechanics, how the orthosis can help us to overcome the toe gait. So you can see so there's some tightness or something around the angle. So by using an angle foot orthosis, we can control the angle. Then we can change the GRF position anterior to the knee. Then again, this is unstable. So then we simple heel lift and we are changing the GRF, and it will create the hyperextension movement and stable gait. So this is hinge A4. Hinge means dynamic A4 again. And then dynamic this A4 for active child. So sometimes we should allow the motion. Sometimes we need to control the plantar flexion and we need to allow the dorsiflexion. So those type of case we use foot orthosis. This is the biomechanics principle. How orthosis, jointed A4 can help us. So I think you can. So this is the knee angle foot orthosis. As I already mentioned, these type of orthosis not for mainly ambulatory purpose. It does it mean it's actually a knee angle foot orthosis means a big orthosis from here to toe. It will be definitely it will be very difficult for the child to walk. If that type of case, mostly we depend on other treatment, either surgical or other therapist exercise and those things. And mainly we use for a knee after post surgery knee immobilization or like stretching things. This is hip knee angle foot orthosis and hip orthosis. It's also mainly not for the ambulatory purpose, to maintain the hip in the proper position. The upper extremity orthosis. So not like lower limb orthosis. Upper extremity orthosis in CP is very limited. There is a huge benefit that there is huge difference we can make through using a upper limb orthosis, but in real practice it's not easy job, because sometimes it's always difficult for us to get the proper materials, the wearing time, and it's also very difficult to separate the type of orthosis, and the main thing is prescription, because there are so many things that we need to do. We need to consider this one, and the main use we use finger orthosis and wrist orthosis. So this is just to show you the example how when we put the wrist in a proper position, then the child is able to do some motions without any problems. So this is the big one. Spinal orthosis and special seating. Spinal orthosis actually for scoliosis, it's not like adults and idiopathic scoliosis. For the child with cerebral palsy, we don't use the orthosis for the correction purpose. It to support the trunk. And so if it is a major curves and those things, it's for the surgery. And for the special seating, sometimes the child, non-ambulatory child, when they wanted to, when we need to control the tongue and the head, we use special seating. So this is the common gait pattern that we can see in spastic diplegia. So we have already, since morning we have go through this one, gait pattern. So what I wanted to acknowledge is here, the angle position. So, like for example, if we think about true equinus, then we most of the times we need to correct the angle. Then automatically we can give some support to the knee. So that's how we use different type of orthosis to overcome this gait pattern. So this is also the similarly gait pattern in spastic hemiplegia. So I have one cases, the child, diplegic CP child, so GM CS is 2 and MEC is 2, normal talk and can walk without support. This is muscle strength, and both sides hamstring tightness is there, adductor tightness is there, Achilles tendon tightness is present, but no any contracture. So I will show you a video before after the orthotic intervention. It's a normal, his normal gait without any orthosis. So you can see the motion in the knee and the ankle. Here we use the ground reaction AS4 because the child, he has a problem not only the Achilles tendon, he has a problem with the, so not only the problem with the ankle, and he has problem in the knee also. Therefore, to address these two issues, we use ground reaction AS4. So I will conclude my presentation with two research papers. Focus on the, one thing, whether they wanted to study, are there any are there any good improvement in using angle foot orthosis after multi-developed surgery? So they conclude that one. there, even though not, I mean, they have did the gait analysis and they use some gait deviation, I mean, gait deviation index and those things. These are the outcome measure they use and analyze it, saying that one, after the surgery, if they use angle foot orthosis, there is an improvement that we can see. That's what they conclude through this study. So this is the study. Most of the time, the research they focus on short-term use of angle foot orthosis and those things. So through this study, they study around 18 months. So and they conclude that one. So even after the long term, there is improvement, real improvement in the patient's gait. So that's what they conclude in this study. So to conclude this, my research, I was focusing on the time. So to conclude my presentation, orthosis, to add to the therapeutic and surgery, orthosis really can support patient with cerebral palsy, but the intervention and the prescription and the time that, the time that we use, those things affect orthosis outcome. Thank you.
දරුවා අවුරුදු දෙක පසුවෙත් පැහැදිලි වචන කතා නොකිරීම ඕටිසම් තත්ත්වයේ ලක්ෂණයක් විය හැකියි. ඕටිසම් ලදරුවියේදීම හඳුනාගතහොත් හොඳින් පාලනය කළ හැකියි. නොපමාව අමතන්න 11790.3 SLACD සහ CDB සාමූහික මෙහෙවරක්.
If your child has not spoken clear words by 2 years of age, it could be a sign of autism. Autism can be successfully managed if identified at an early age. Call our helpline on 0117490000, a joint effort by the SLACD and CDB.
குழந்தை 2 வயதுக்கு பின்னரும் தெளிவாக பேசாவிடின் அது ஓட்டிசத்தின் அறிகுறியாக இருக்கலாம். ஓட்டிசத்தை சிறு வயதிலேயே இனங்கண்டு கொண்டால் அதனை கட்டுப்படுத்தலாம். தாமதியாது அழையுங்கள் 0117 490 000. இது SLACD மற்றும் CDB இணைந்து செயற்திட்டம்.